Hello everyone. So today we will be talking about hardness testing machines. So this one that I have here is called an HRB hardness tester. So this means that an HRB uses a ball type indenter like here. This is the indenter used for this machine, and you place it on this knob, and the material you want to test will be placed directly under it. So if this is your material, you place it here. And this machine is manual, so which means it uses a pressure gauge like this one. Versus this type, which is an automatic hardness tester. This one is an HRT hardness tester, which means that it uses a different tip. So it is a more pointed tip. But it still uses a rotating screw in order to place the material on to the indenter. So the next one is also a hardness tester, and the last one as well is also a hardness tester. But this one is called a Vickers hardness tester. So this means that it uses a pyramid-shaped indenter and also two microscopes that read the dimensions of the indentation made on the material. So in order to measure the hardness of the material, after putting the load, it measures the width, and it compares the width and to the loading, and that is how the hardness is measured for the Vickers test. So let's go back here, and here we have the reference table that is used for our lab. So as you can see on the screen, there's also another version of this. And this reference table just means that if you want to see the scale on HRT versus the scale on HRB, you can see the comparison. So that's it for this one.
So here we have the material, and here you have, look here, you have how much weight you want to put. This one is 100, it says 100 inside. Then here you have 60, 150. So here we will just use 100, okay? This one is the loading and unloading. Okay, so here we will use, so you put your material here, the indenter here, put the material, okay, so look here, the scale is in the zero, it's not on anything, right? It's not on anything.
So here you can see the dial. Look at the dial, and it's at the end right now, right? And as I rotate the rotating table up more, the dial moves. So it's the rotating screw at the bottom. So now after this process, you need to rotate it and set it to 0 as I did here. And after you set it to 0, that is when you can apply the loading. So this is the loading. Just pull it forward to apply the load. Now you can see the value change, and this is your hardness. That's it. Good. So now we will do the unloading. Just push the lever like this, and after that we can now remove the material by rotating the screw counterclockwise. Remember that it is very important to do it counterclockwise, because if you do it clockwise, which means the table will go up, you will damage the indenter. Okay? So now when you do the practice, remember to return the material to the box. And these are just some of the other materials that we use in the lab for practice on how to use the machine. And that's it for Rockwell hardness test. So now we are going over to the Vickers hardness test, and we are going to be using this automatic hardness tester. So this machine is more sensitive and more expensive than the other one, so be very careful when using it. So first off, we have how do you change the load that you have. So here you have this knob, and as you can see, the load on the screen changes. So the amount of load that you would use normally depends on what you are trying to do. But in this case, in this example, we are doing micro hardness. So 100 grams, 200 grams is fine. So now you have to change the time. So this is how long you want to subject your specimen to the load. So to change these parameters, you have to press the lower left box on the screen, like so. And the screen will go black, but press it again, and you can change the setup. So press the setup, press load time, and then you can input the time. So how long you want it. So here we're using 15 seconds. So after changing the load time, press test, press HV, and you go back to the original screen.
Doesn't matter how long. Usually use 15 seconds or 10 seconds.
So if we were in class, we suggest that you do not touch these parameters. So if the machine have already been set up for 15 seconds, then we suggest that you do not change it and just use 15 seconds. So after you have confirmed that there are no other parameters that you would like to change, now it is time to check on the indenter. Now you can see here that our specimen is already on the table. So since all your setup is complete, it is time to start the operation. So you just go to the bottom right corner, press start, and it will start blinking, so from blue to yellow. So this blinking means that the indenter is already on the specimen and doing so for 15 seconds. So during this process, please do not touch this rotating handle, as if you do and you change or move it, it will definitely damage our indenter, and this is also very expensive. So please wait until the blinking stops and it turns blue. So after the blinking stops, you can now change the first microscope, which is colored blue, on the left side of the indenter, and change the focus by rotating this knob as I am doing on this video. So now you need to change the coordinates to 0, and you do this by rotating this knob that I am using here to move the right line over to the one on the left. So here you can see clearly that you cannot see space between the two lines. So after you have determined that the lines are completely touching, you need to press 0 to set everything to 0, obviously. So after you have set D1 and D2 to 0, you can now measure the width. So you do this by rotating the same knob, and you need to touch the left line on the left point of the indentation and the right line to the right point of the indentation, like so. See, you can see here it's touching both sides. After you are satisfied that the lines are touching, you can now change to the other side of the indentation. You press this button and then you rotate this handle, and now you can do the same exact process for the top and bottom side of the indentation. So now, same process, you fit the top line for the top point of the indentation and the bottom line to the bottom point of the indentation. After this, you press the same button and then your hardness will appear on the screen. That's it. So after you have finished this process, you can now take a picture of your screen to remember the parameters as well as the hardness that you have acquired.